So the key things are that this lever engages properly with this. So one issue that I've seen is that this lever, this is a concentric, is it concentric? Eccentric. There's an eccentric nut. There's another eccentric right here, and there's another eccentric in a better pointer. There's another eccentric right here. There's another eccentric. Doesn't matter if I take this off. Yeah, it doesn't get any. Yeah, right there, another eccentric. So those are the 3 adjustment points that just make this camera very annoying. A couple things that can go bad is, again, this engagement from these, that's the cocking mechanism. So when you turn the cocking lever, this moves inwards. This can get bent such that when it tries to engage here for the final moments, it gets stuck. And I think that happens if it gets forced, or this moving piece right here can go over this stationary piece. So this one right here, it can go over and jump to this side, and now your camera won't wind. And now you have to figure out how to get this back. And I think once it's gone over, the camera is it's kind of toast, I think. Unless you figure out that eccentric, somehow recover it. What else is there? So I guess I can put that lever back on, and we can just kind of just look at the action. Put this back on. So, like I said, for winding the camera, you wind on, it applies pressure onto that lever, and all these little things happen, and it hits the very end, and it returns. If it's not returning, to figure out what's catching. Right? But I guess this is all, for you, it's a problem that you would get to once you get that mirror thing figured out. And I guess, so let's try that again. So this arm that's going down, it's engaging that gear that I can't quite show right now because I have to take this lens off. It's engaging that and charging the shutter. And that gear, once it's done, it's gonna return and hit some lever in here, I think. Might be wrong on that. Or it might just be the completion of this cycle that hits something that releases the mirror, and that's probably why your mirror is stuck. So it's I guess so the action of the mirror is being controlled by this mechanism down here, and then internally, and if you could see it, there's a cam. Oh, actually, you can't see the mirror. Complete levers in there, but there are levers in there that are engaging the mirror. But this device is what's really, like, if this is not in the correct position. So I think right now the mirror is down, right? So you can see the mirror is down. But if I put it in bulb, then we can see where the mirror stops. That's actually a pretty good idea. Let me try to put it in bulb mode. So I put it in bulb, and I fire it. So the mirror now is up, and that thing, the arm is out here. This little cam is, I can't really show it, but it's resting stuck on a couple levers in there. And one thing I noticed when I was fixing mine is there's something that locks it in place there. And I think that release, that final release is, I can't remember where it comes from, but the final release comes from internally there. So if something's stuck there, you'd have to like poke and prod it. This is a working camera, so nothing's stuck. But maybe we can get light in here, maybe. So, guess that's the gear. And I think somewhere in here, okay, so those are the things that catch the cam for the mirror and the shutter and everything. Like it controls the shutter. It also, so that this lever here engages with the shutter on the back of this unit, and then I think down here that's what's engaging with the actual mirror levers and stuff. So I guess we could try charging it. You see it's like stuck on that thing. So I recall the release was somewhere in here. In there. And I guess it's probably actuated by either the upward in bulb mode. It seems to be actuated by the upward movement of the trigger. But I think in the long exposure, the slower shutter speeds, I believe it was let's try and see. This is 1 second. It really isn't the gear. Nope, it is the gear. I probably can't get the macro shot for that. Actually, maybe I can. So I don't know if you can see in there. So what are we looking for? We're looking at that tiny gear in there, right? And we're looking at the setting pin on it. Let's see if I can get this a little brighter. And I think when it hits at the very end, I believe that's what triggers it. I might be wrong on that though. So that hits and it releases one of those two pins, and then that mirror cam. Oops, sorry. Dim this down a bit. Right, so it, that gear completes its cycle, and I think it trips something. It pushes this lever, and by pushing that lever, that one of these levers, I guess it's probably this one. Oh, I can't show you. You can see this guy. Yeah, almost certainly it's that guy and this one. I don't know if you see them. So these two levers. This lever and that lever. Oh god, I hope I'm not breaking mine. They go out the way. And then the mirror this cam can return back to this position, which is the mirror down position. So I believe yours, this is probably stuck there. If it isn't stuck there, then it might be somewhere here lagging. And I think if it's lagging, then it's a different problem. So I think if it's lagging, then there's a spring back here that gets charged, and it kind of gets pretty complicated there. If you could see this, so let's look in here then. So there's a spring in here that's getting charged by this gear. So if this gear gets stripped, SOL again. I have another camera. This gear is stripped. It's trash. You can't pull this off. So I think it's riveted on. And this gear is being charged by this gear. I don't know if you can see it, but there's another gear in there. And you can see that gear from outside. It is this thing. And so the part when I say this, it gets out of step, basically just mean that I don't know if you could see it, but there's oops. You can't see it. Just checking the camera still works. There's a little shiny metal. See if I can get this brighter. That shiny piece of metal that's cupping that little kind of pinned looking thing, that sometimes gets pushed back, and then that pin, that one, it slips, so the camera just, the action gets out of step. And then I think this guy would almost certainly be lagging, and it'll be down here or something. So I think one way to fix that is to manually try charging this. So you'd have to manually pull this, and then once you get to, I guess from my one, it looks like it's the one without the ring. Once you get that guy in place, you can set that lever back, and then I think this would automatically try to latch down here. So this cam would try to latch down here, and then you can try firing it. And to fire, it might not fire. You just have to meet the conditions. You have to poke at some of these things, release this lever, I think this one, yeah, you have to release this and then push down, see if it fires. But the key thing is, if this is lagging down here and not stuck, then it's out of step, and you have to wind it and sort of bring that back into step. And then once you do that, you just lubricate it, clean it with some acetone or something, and just like silicone grease. Silicone, the really slippery stuff, that's what I've been using. Or you can use sewing machine oil, or mix both of them, whatever. I don't know. Lubrication for cameras. I'm not a lubricant expert. But that's what I would do. So I think that's about all I can say on here. Hope it works.